All right, everybody, welcome back. Here we are, finals of the first PK Party, hopefully monthly tournament. We're about to get finals started. I'm Kino. I'm here with my buddy Combo. You ready for this?
What's up, everybody? Yeah, super excited. I think seeing a lot of the cool plays, especially last set between Moxie and oh boy, let me see if I can pronounce it. Charisma check. I think there's a lot of cool plays, especially towards kind of mid game, end game. There, we're seeing a lot of adaptations and a lot of different plays dealing with things. So, kind of excited to see how these two different teams now kind of approach each other. We're looking at Jucius' team a little bit. And we saw the Trick Room opportunity with Mimikyu. And how there's kind of a Trick Room mode there. And I think kind of relative on speed tiers of how the other team is looking, I don't think Moxie's team is necessarily super fast either, but they do have Tailwind presence. So I think that does make Trick Room pretty, like, somewhat viable here, I think, to kind of throw in. We'll see, though. Not entirely sure. What about you?
Leading Mimikyu is definitely pretty safe here. Again, if you see the Frostmoth, you think it's going to go for Trick Room, you can set up the Tailwind. You have, the Brute Bonded on your team that benefits from the Trick Room as well. Has, access to Spore, has access to Rage Powder, if his is running it. Has just generally hard to deal with. It's basically the same as Amoonguss, right? Like, both Pokemon are super hard to deal with if you let Trick Room go up. So we'll see if Jucius kind of opts for that route, or if we're going to see more of a faster route with, I mean, his team is like fairly mid-speed, right? Like, he doesn't have any speed control, he doesn't have any Tailwind or Icy Wind, right? Outside of, the potential Trick Room on the Mimikyu. So
that's right.
We'll have to see how the speed tiers work out. But dude, first finals of this tournament, and we have a Frostmoth versus a Stonejourner. Like, these are not Pokemon you see often, right? These are both really cool picks that you typically will not see in a finals of any tournament. So it's definitely really cool to see them here.
Yeah. I mean, they have their gimmicks, they have their uses too. It's not like they're totally out of left field and just like the Mon you don't bring on your team of 6 to make it sound really cool. Like, they've definitely been useful in presence here, which I think is super awesome. Going into some of the Mon picks we've seen from Moxie's side too, they kind of focused on the slower end picks here. We had both the Amoonguss and King Gambit coming in, who are also very much usable in Trick Room. Look at our opener here. We have Great Tusk Rotom up against Stonejourner and King Gambit.
Nice. If you're Great Tusk right now, you have to be feeling pretty good. You can threaten both of these Pokemon with either a Headlong Rush or a close combat. You can really do whatever you want. The Stonejourner, it's there for a wide guard. It will stop Rotom from clicking Discharge. So right off the bat, I think Jucius kind of knows the little combo that Moxie is going to be going for, right? The Earthquake Discharge combo. But this is still, I think, a really good spot for Moxie to be in. This Great Tusk is really just not threatened at all by anything.
Yeah, the Earthquake is super threatening here. So the wide card, it's very potent, especially in this particular matchup.
Yeah, we're going to see an instant terrestrialization from the King Gambit. It's going to be Flying King Gambit, which is definitely really good. You're going to, be immune to Great Tusk's ground moves. You're going to resist its fighting moves. And, and actually, this one is packing Terra Blast. The Great Tusk actually going for a Protect to scout out the Terra Blast, which is definitely pretty cool. A Volt Switch from the Rotom into the Flying King Gambit, very nice. Hit it with that super effective damage. And the Great Tusk, you have to assume, is just going to block the Terra Blast that's probably about to come out here from the King Gambit.
Yeah, that was my only point of worry. When I saw that Terra flying on the King Gambit, I'm like, ooh, we do have a Rotom, which is pretty potent damage. We've seen Moxie come up with before on the Discharge reusage, and of course, the Volt Switch as well. But King Gambit takes it like a champ. Not too much damage taken on him, even if for the super effective damage. We have the Rock Slide coming up from Stonejourner. Flinch chance really not going to be much of anything right now. We have the Amoonguss switching along with Great Tusk protecting. We have the Terra Blast too on the Great Tusk slot. Imagine if that went on Amoonguss. That could have been something.
Yeah, that would have been a little insane of a read, though, right? To click a Flying Terra Blast into Rotom Heat. Like, if you make that play, they're like, all right, you're just a Giga Chat or something. Like, you got it. But the Amoonguss is going to come in pretty safely here. Just take a little chip from the Rock Slide. I wonder, if we're going to see a Terra from the Amoonguss. It's not... you avoid the Terra Blast, but you don't really want to be a Psychic type when staring down a King Gambit. So the Great Tusk, which was in a great position a second ago, is now, maybe in a little bit of a tougher spot. We'll see if this Amoonguss wants to redirect King Gambit's Terra Blast away, but then it's going to be taking a super effective Terra Blast. And also, it's worth noting for sure that this Stonejourner still has its Focus Sash intact.
That's right. One thing I kind of want to point out is when we were looking early on, I'll wait for after this play. There's a close combat coming out, bringing Stonejourner all the way down to Sash, and it's gonna proc here.
Okay, another Rock Slide coming out. Not going to do much damage to either Pokemon. Here comes the Terra Blast. So that Rock Slide very key in breaking the... I was going to say key in breaking the Great Tusk's Focus Sash, but we're actually going to see the Terra Blast into the King Gambit. Very nice. Able to get out of that situation, protecting both his Amoonguss and just, I guess, calling that the King Gambit wasn't going to target the Great Tusk that turn. Maybe expecting the Great Tusk to switch out into the King Gambit there, but, you know, Jucius not wanting to let any of his Pokemon get spored for free. You know, when Amoonguss is on the field, you really do have to respect the, you know, the spore capability. You have to get that thing out of here. So this Great Tusk is still around. It's the fastest thing on the field right now, and it can definitely knock out the Stonejourner if it wants. Sucker Punch is going to come out, not going to do a ton of damage. Close Combat into the King Gambit, also not going to do a ton of damage. Maybe. I'm not even sure what they're looking for there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the decision on Close Combat in the slot there for that resist damage. Wow, low kick from Stonejourner. Gonna complete. That's quad weak right there. That King Gambit is going down. That's an early loss here. One thing I did want to bring up earlier is looking at Jucius' team, it seemed like there's a pretty viable usage of Mimikyus and Trick Room, and it seemed like Moxie also picked a lot of the slower end mons on their team as well, possibly expecting the Trick Room to come out and try and contest with things like Amoonguss and the King Gambit of their own. I'm not sure if they're like slightly caught off guard that Mimikyu hasn't opened up yet and Trick Room is not on the field yet or not, but ultimately it seems like Great Tusk has still been doing okay with the lack of Trick Room here, putting his one fast ones on the field.
Yep, definitely. Alright, we're finally going to see the Wide Guard come out from Stonejourner. Not going to let the Discharge Earthquake shenanigans ensue, but Rotom once again just going to go for another Volt Switch on King Gambit. That's going to be enough to take the knockout. And King Gambit, Flying King Gambit, not able to take out the, you know, the Great Tusk the entire time. Both these Pokemon were on the field, you know, since turn 1, and, you know, just fine with it. The King Gambit is going down. This should also be an attack into the Stonejourner, which is just kind of sitting there after that Wide Guard. And this is probably going to be a double knockout for Moxie here. Yep, there it is. There goes the Stonejourner.
And it is gone. Now Jucius back on their back 2 feet. Moxie with the 1 Pokemon advantage. We'll see what Jucius brought to the table since we didn't have their side of the team selection.
All right, let's see who we got in the back. Sandy Shocks coming out. And the Brute on it. The Ungabungus is here on the field.
We got both Amoonguss and Brute on the field. Spore threatening on the other side.
Yeah. I still like this spot for Moxie. Jucius already used their Terastallization, so this Ungabungus is going to be, you know, permanently weak to close combat here. I believe is this Amoonguss or is this Brute on Focus Sash? I don't remember. On Jucius' side, no. This is a loaded dice. So
right, Bullet Seed.
Yeah, so this should just be... I'm pretty sure this will get the knockout on the Brute Bonnet. Let's see.
Close combat.
Yeah, there it goes. One hit.
Ooh, now it's looking really rough here for Juice to stay out the rest of this game. Sandy Shocks relying so much on that's electric type. Damaging is really not going to help.
And even with the Earth Power, which at this point will easily be enough to take out the Great Tusk, the Amoonguss can just very easily Rage Powder the Earth Power to its side of the field, and Great Tusk will definitely be able to take the knockout on Sandy Shocks with another Headlong Rush. So Moxie looking pretty good to take them. We're actually going to see a Protect here.
Playing it a little bit safer, just to kind of feel out what else the Sandy Shocks might have. Could be playing for habitual information. Not entirely sure, since it is open team sheet.
Yeah, going for the Spore here. This was kind of scary, right? Because if that Earth Power crit, you were in a pretty tough spot. Your Amoonguss goes down, your Great Tusk is, you know, at risk. It is, you know, it's slower and going to get knocked out next turn as well. But the crit doesn't happen. The Spore comes through, and now, yeah, this is just an easy cleanup for the Great Tusk. Great Tusk coming out on the field, turn 1, and just staying there the whole game, taking names. That's why Great Tusk is my favorite Pokemon this generation. That Pokemon is so cool.
Yeah, he really solidified his rock solid spot there. Despite the Terra Flying King Gambit, absolutely no fear, stuck it out, and put in work all the way through. Really, that opening with Stonejourner King Gambit up against that Great Tusk, even with the Terra Flying, really put Great Tusk in such a strong position. I was able to just ride the wave till the end.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to, you know, see what kind of adjustments Jucius wants to make. I think the Terra Flying King Gambit was really good. I think, you know, if they're like more confident in going after the Great Tusk, you can kind of mitigate that threat quite a bit. Mimikyu also, you know, a really good Pokemon to that. It has Will-O-Wisp, it has super effective Play Rough, so Mimikyu may be something that the Jucius Jucius wants to bring. We'll have to see. I did actually like the Stonejourner because Wyguard, like you said earlier, is really valuable in this matchup where a core part of Moxie's strategy is Earthquake plus Discharge.
That's right. That's right. I think the Mimikyu also kind of help in mitigating the Great Tusk threat speed-wise, since even though it's more in the kind of an average speed Pokemon, a lot of the other stuff on the field are even slower than it, so it ended up being one of the fastest things on the field besides Rotom. So having Mimikyu out with the Trick Room suddenly puts everyone else in a much stronger position relative to Great Tusk.
Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of noticing, I mentioned at the beginning of the set that Jucius outside of the Trick Room doesn't really have much speed control, but I think it's kind of okay because their team is just so bulky that, you know, everything on this team is pretty able to take hits and, you know, just hit back and, you know, maybe take some winnable trades, you know? So I do see, you know, how that can be pretty good. But let's see what adjustments we're going to see from Jucius going into game number 2.
Yeah, opening momentum is going to be super important for either team to start really pushing a lead. Okay, we have Rotom King Gambit up against Stonejourner and Sandy Shocks this time around, so no Great Tusk to threaten the field at the beginning. And King Gambit on Juice's side is also going to be held back just a little bit. We might be seeing that Terra flying a little later.
All right. Oh, let me see. What Terra type is this King Gambit? It's cool that both trainers have the King Gambit. It's such a good Pokemon. We got Terra Ghost King Gambit on MoxieInfernape side.
Really going against that fighting weakness. Quad
Yeah,
weak to immunity.
Looks like, are we maybe going to see a turn 1 Terra? Assurance is such a strong attack.
Yeah, the Discharge Assurance combo is something we've been seeing in earlier sets too from Moxie's side. Absolutely monstrous. Rotom is definitely going to be going ahead of King Gambit as long as it's not Trick Room. Even if Discharge is only doing chip damage, Assurance does so much damage to follow up. Absolutely painful. But we are going to be seeing a turn 1 Terra Ghost here on King Gambit.
Yeah, I do like the Terra Ghost here. You're immune to that low kick, so you don't have to worry about it. Full Switch going to easily, wow, do way more than just break that Focus Sash. King Gambit, you know, we saw he targeted into the Stonejourner this turn, so that will be enough to take the Stonejourner out very easily. And I like this idea from Moxie, getting rid of the Stonejourner early, because now Wide Guard is off the table. Now you can kind of go back to your Discharge Earthquake shenanigans if he brought the if he did bring the Great Tusk in the back. Which I feel like they would, right? Because it was such a strong Pokemon game 1.
That's right. All right. Terra Ghost also helps you with the Earth Power, removing its weakness, and the Assurance to kind of clean up this Stonejourner, get rid of the power spot, not have to worry about it anymore. Wide Guard's gone, Rock Slide all gone now.
Just yeah, switch over to that's the other thing with as bulky as Moxie's team is, you definitely do not want to be dealing with Rock Slide flinches. So yeah, getting rid of it. It's crazy that Stonejourner is such a threat, right? Like. What is this?
Who would ever thought, right? Yeah, I think an interesting mix-up that comes in now with King Gambit being Terra Ghost is its own dark weakness, and thus potentially making it susceptible to a Sucker Punch against it, which now we have this Brupana out with the potential to do the same. Because I do believe on average that Brupana would be faster than a King Gambit, so if they both happen to go for the Sucker Punch, it would be Brupana's advantage.
We'll have, yeah, it's definitely going to come down to how they're trained for sure. And you know, the King Gambit we saw does have low kick, but low kick is definitely not going to be enough to knock out the Brupana. And like you said, Brupana's Sucker Punch is going to go first. It is going to knock out King Gambit.
Yeah, there it is. I never thought I'd be seeing like the King Gambit taken out by a Sucker Punch, but Terra Ghost does that to you.
Definitely. We're going to see a Spore not able to connect with the Sandy Shocks thanks to the Protect, and let's see who's coming out next. Again, I really like this spot for Great Tusk. Yep, and here is the Great Tusk.
Here it is.
Both of these, you can post combat the Brute Bonnet, you can Headlong Rush / Earthquake the Sandy Shocks. If you want to Earthquake, you can always switch your Amoonguss out into Rotom as well, just so it levitates above it. I do like Great Tusk here. I like Great Tusk everywhere though. I'm biased. I'm super biased.
It is a pretty solid Pokemon, but yeah, it has super effective pressure on both Brupana and Sandy Shocks to one-hit KO either way.
Yeah, and it's strong.
So that alone, pressure. Yeah, like that alone makes it enough of a threat to justify it being on the field.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, it will be. It is slower than the Sandy Shocks, but I believe this one is Focus Sash, so it should always be able to take a hit and just hit back really hard. Here comes the Terra Grass from the Unga Bungus, no longer taking super effective damage from that close combat. Earth Power going straight into Amoonguss. Not going to do too much. Here comes the Spore into the Sandy... Oh, sorry, into the Great Tusk, but Great Tusk is going to protect here. And the Amoonguss, what's Amoonguss going for? Sludge Bomb. Nice, wow.
Ooh.
Yep, right into the group on it. Does solid 35-ish%. Not bad, not bad.
And it helps that it works with, in this case, with or without Terra, since it goes from a Terra Grass Dark to
grass
just
to grass.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And now that
I
Great Tusk
wonder-
has managed to avoid the Spore, and they still have, most likely a speed advantage here to at least take out the Brute Bonnet. And unlike, it can't get one shot by Sandy Shocks either. That's going to be huge with the close combat. Even if it's not super effective, I think it could do quite a bit.
Yeah, and we're going to see the Amoonguss is going to... Oh, living on 1 HP, the Invisible Focus Sash, redirecting that Earth Power away. Let's see if this close combat is enough to take out Unga Bungus from that range. It is. There it goes. No more Spore pressure, and you have a Great Tusk out against the Sandy Shocks. You're in a good position for sure.
Jucius also lost the Terra, too, exposing a lot from their team at this point.
All right, Alco's last one, Mimikyu. Yeah, I think Mimikyu is definitely not a bad one to have in the back, right? It has the benefit of having the disguise, so you can never get one hit KO'd. It is faster. Well, it is theoretically faster than the Great Tusk, right? Again, if this is a very slow Mimikyu, maybe it's going to be slower. But if it is faster, it has Will-O-Wisp to burn it. It has Play Rough to hit it super effectively. Great Tusk is going to be stuck as a ground fighting type because the King Gambit already terastallized. So let's see, maybe Jucius will be able to pull this one back. Here comes another Rage Powder. That Amoonguss is just a glutton for punishment.
Taking everything and anything, even with 1 health. Gotta do your job.
Alright, Sandy Shocks. We see it's faster than Mimikyu. Mimikyu should be able to get off the Play Rough or Will-O-Wisp here, provided it does not miss. Earthquake, gonna do a ton of damage to Sandy Shocks, and just break Mimikyu's disguise. Not enough to knock it out, though. And we see the Play Rough. It's gonna connect. It's not gonna knock out, though. Great Tusk is so physically bulky. We have a Choice Scarf Rotom in the back. This is looking tough. Looking a little tough.
Very rough for Jucius here, because it seems like a lot is riding on Mimikyu's back at this point, and I'm really not sure how much it could do against both Rotom and Great Tusk right now. Sandy Shocks does not have a whole lot of time left. It is looking quite rough for Jucius.
Even the Rotom alone, Mimikyu does not have a good matchup into Rotom. You can't burn it. It resists Play Rough. Shadow Sneak is not exactly the strongest move in the game. I feel like the Rotom could just pretty comfortably just sit on Discharge and end up taking it. Let's see what he opts to go for. Shadow Sneak into the Great Tusk, not going to connect.
Yeah, Discharge is going to be an immunity here for Sandy Shocks, but it's going to do quite solid damage on.
Oh, but actually, we're gonna see a trick.
Oh.
The Mimikyu is locked into Scar. So yeah, now this is kind of nice. This is the Rotom can change up moves now. We see a Terra Blast into Rotom. That is interesting. It is the only thing it has to hit Rotom, for damage. Rotom being, resistant to electric and immune to ground.
Yeah, it's not gonna have the same type attack bonus. It's not gonna have boosted change type or anything. It's pure normal type. But whatever you can do, you got to do something, right?
Yeah, definitely. And actually, this is this is kind of tough, right? The Rotom only has electric type attacks. I'm just noticing this now. So if Jucius can get rid of the Great Tusk gets a double protect. It is going to survive this turn. Oh my god, this is actually so close. Because yeah, if Jucius can get rid of the Great Tusk, the Sandy Shocks will. Oh wait, also it's Terra Blast. Never mind. Sorry,
to respond.
Never mind. I take all of that back.
Wow, what a double protect though, keeping Great Tusk alive. I mean, that Shadow Sneak would probably be enough to take Great Tusk down here. And then it'll just be a Rotom Great Tusk 1v1.
Yeah.
I wonder how things could be different if that double protect didn't actually end up playing out. The Shadow Sneak finally will take out the Great Tusk. Rotom is here to drop the electric type damage onto Mimikyu. Can it survive? Okay.
I mean, it's doing enough, right? Is this Play Rough into Shadow Sneak? Is that enough? Oh, maybe double Shadow Sneak will do it?
Ooh,
oh, double Shadow Sneak will do it! If this lives... Oh,
Yeah,
but it
I
gets
don't
the
think it was
knockout.
living. Yeah, I don't think it was living that second discharge. It's going to get knocked out, and that is going to be Moxie's victory. Moxie takes it over Jucius 2-0 in finals of PK Party and is crowned our first winner for this hopefully upcoming monthly series.
Definitely congrats to Moxie for taking it. You get to put your name in the Hall of Fame bars with a Frostmoth. Winning the tournament with a Frostmoth.
That's
Very
right.
cool.
We did see the Frostmoth actually come in pretty useful in last set